Hi, this is Monica Delamay in the Office of Early Learning at the West Virginia Department of Education. Today I'm going to talk about completion of the Child Outcome Summary Form that is part of the West Virginia Pre-K Child Assessment System. The Child Outcome Summary Form is what's required from the Office of Special Programs to assist with their federal reporting. You'll first go to the website for the Child Assessment System, and we have a short tutorial on the Office of Early Learning website that shows you how to log on. For time's sake, we're going to simply go ahead and go to the development site, so you're not looking at live data today in this tutorial, but this is what the menu would look like to you as someone who serves young children in West Virginia Pre-K. You'll see that the window is open for the assessment reporting process, and what you'll do is click on Early Learning Scale Child Assessment Reporting Form. Now we're on the development site, and sometimes odd things happen, and what we see that you will not need to worry about is this large rectangular box here. You will see data that, or information actually, that looks more like this. This looks way more familiar to you, I'm sure. But the first thing we have to do is go to your drop-down menu, and I looked on here earlier and saw that this particular child has an IEP. So since we're talking about completion of the COSF, you'll note that the language here is highlighted in yellow. The child is Office of Special Education Programs, additional information is required. For every child enrolled in a West Virginia Universal Pre-K classroom, they must have data entered 3 times a year for the early learning scale. That is this information that you see, all these items and strands here that need completed and then need to be saved appropriately. If the child is not enrolled in a classroom but still receives special education services, maybe they get walk-in speech services to a school building, or maybe they get OT or PT services, but they're not in a classroom, then that child would not need to have early learning scale data entered for them. On your site, you have the option to click Do Not Assess. It's not showing up on the development site for whatever reason, but please note that only those children who are enrolled in a classroom need to have data entered for the early learning scale. Those children who are not in a classroom need to have Do Not Assess clicked, because if it's not clicked, then it's going to show like this child's data has just simply not been completed for the early learning scale, when in fact you can't have early learning scale data submitted for a child who's not actually enrolled in a classroom. So now we're ready to click on the OSEP tab here, and you'll actually see the Child Outcome Summary Form. You need to determine the type of COSF you're completing. Eventually, all children receiving special education services in pre-K will have an entry and an exit COSF, and everything in between is an ongoing. So you need to determine if this is the first data checkpoint where data are being entered. This is the entry. If it's anything in between entry and exit, it's ongoing. But for exit, there are some different options. The first option is that the child transitioned to kindergarten or exited the preschool program. The second option is that the child wasn't able to be located. Sometimes that happens, unfortunately, and you would click exit in that case. And then the third option is that the initial IEP was completed less than 6 months ago. Those COSFs will not be able to be utilized for the Office of Special Education Programs data that they submit to the federal government, but we do need to make sure that we still have an exit in place indicating why that data can't be used. This is what the COSF looks like. It's a 7-point scale. There are indicators up top. Looking at this rubric, you can see that you would answer the first 3 questions, and then we have a 1B, 2B, and 3B, and then you simply save the data. You'll go back. Again, you won't see this rectangular box, but I also noted earlier that this child has an IEP in place, and you'll see as well that this yellow tab is here for this particular child, noting that the COSF would need to be completed. If you have a child in your classroom, or if you're serving a child outside of the classroom environment and the child is not on your class roster, or if the child is on your class roster but this yellow information is not available for you to see, and you know the child is receiving services, then please let your special education director as well as your pre-K coordinator know, and there are some things they can do to make sure that the data is reflected properly for each child. If you have questions, feel free to email me at mdelamay@access.k12.wv.us, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.